Welcome back to the DNA Pest Control Podcast. Daniel is here. That's me. Aaron is not. Unfortunately, he is out in the field. Hopefully, he will join us shortly. I know he is on his way in. But like always, this is National Pest Management Month with our pest guest. And today we do have Phillip. He has been in the industry for 3 years. He has his branch 2 operator's license. So everyone outside of California, we have branch 1, 2, 3, and outside of that, there's above that, I should say, there's operator's license. And so he has his branch 2 operator's license, and he is currently with Dash Pest Control. Phillip, how's it going?
It's good.
Hey, did I get that right?
Absolutely. Everything sounded good to me.
Okay, good. I didn't make up anything along the way.
No, yeah. Branch 2 operators just passed my test, and working towards my branch 3. I know got a couple more months, I think, before I can take it. But yeah,
Nice.
goals.
Hey, that's good, man. Get it all. And what kind of pushed you to get well, before we jump into anything crazy, how did you get into the industry? Because everyone has a little bit different story. It's kind of a weird industry to even get introduced into. How did you get introduced to it?
Right. So, I wasn't looking for pest control when I got introduced. I was actually working in a lot of retail. I spent 5 years at Sam's Club, and then I actually left because I just wasn't liking the environment. My brother was actually working with his father-in-law, who was doing termite work and construction work. So they got me in on the construction side, and I started seeing some of the pest control side, and I was like, well, I gotta be a part of that too.
Nice. Nice. Okay. So you kind of got pulled in. So family was kind of involved with it. Um, okay. That's so you knew a little bit about pest control prior to jumping in.
Just a little bit. We had started talking about getting licensed at the company with my brother, but right when COVID came in, I got laid off. So I just started putting out applications, and then I found the company I'm with now, which is Dash. They kind of pointed me in the right direction as far as what I needed to do, and then I got licensed, my applicator's license. About 2 months after that, I was like, I need to bump this up a little bit. So I took the branch 2 and 3 field rep license test like in the same day, and I passed them both. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, so just jumped in, ready to go. Did you have any study material or anything like that?
I wish I would have had some like legit study material, but a lot of my studying was like Quizlet.com, YouTube videos. So.
Yep. No, that seems to be a common theme. Even here, we'll send some of them on Quizlet. There's some books out there. The Termite Terry book is a good one for California to get licensed and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, the Termite Terry books. I wanted to take a look at those, but it was just like what I could afford at the time, and it was all pretty much the free stuff. So.
Yeah, hey, I don't blame you. Yeah, we provided it for our guys, so we'll get the book and we'll get them in it. So I totally understand. Yeah, because it's like $50-$60.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a cheap book. So I get it. I totally understand. So then once you got into it, were you just running a regular route, or did you go in termites? You were doing everything.
So I jumped into it. I did my normal 1 week of training with my trainer and was on my own. I started listening to podcasts, which is where I found you guys, and it was like really helpful. So I immersed myself in as much information as I could with YouTube videos, podcasts. I talked to whoever I could talk to about whatever I needed to talk about.
Yeah.
And then, with termites, it was the same thing. I had like a week of training, and then pretty much all self-taught stuff. And anytime I can meet a vendor or another termite inspector, I can ask them questions. It's just like nonstop talking.
No, hey, that honestly is really smart, because there's so little information put out with the pest control and pest control world. But also there's so much as well, right? I mean, it's like an intertwined of both. If you don't know where to find it, you're kind of left in the dark. It's not like you type in pest control, study material, and it just pops up and it gives you everything you need to know. It's so wide and vast. You're kind of in the dark even with some of that stuff.
Yeah, and even with like the searches, like if you were just to type in pest control this or that, you're getting a lot of just ads for companies who want to do your pest control, or it's not a lot of like this is how you do or this is what you do to learn. So
Yeah, no, and I've put that in there, and I've seen it. It's just like company after company after company. It's like I put in pest control like study material, and it pulls up like companies that are trying to sell you services, and it's like okay. But even the state, I've seen it because when you apply, for your applicators or your operators, there's even study materials there. Have you seen that?
yeah, they I actually just when I got my operators, I went through the Pest Ed link and did my classes that way. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so they have a list of your classes for your operators,
yeah.
and then they have study material off of that. If you ever look at that study material, and I've taken some time to go and look at each one, it is like 30, 40 different books
Oh
to take
yeah.
a 150 question test.
When I first started looking, because I pulled up that list of study material and I was like, okay, this is a cool little list for me to go through. I
Yeah.
pulled up the first link. It was like the Malice pest control book, and I looked at it and it's like a legit dictionary. It's
Yeah.
there's no way to get through it in like a week. So
No, 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 no. You would know so much after studying all that study material. You might as well just, I mean, don't even be a tech at that point. I mean, you're an entomologist, you know everything.
yeah,
I've, yeah, they don't help. They don't do a good job helping you. So, um, you got your applicators first, your
yeah.
applicators, right? And then you took that branch 2 and branch 3 test.
Yeah. So I scheduled it myself. I didn't even talk to my boss or anything. I was just like, I wanna get the next step. So I scheduled it. I took it. I actually took all three branch field rep tests on the same day. Um, I didn't study for branch one because I was like, I'm gonna take it anyway, but we can't do any fumigation with the company I'm at. So if I pass it, I pass it. If I don't, I don't. I missed it by like 5 questions.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah, it's not how that you took the branch one.
I was like, I'm gonna take as many tests as I can.
Hey, you know what? Why not? You throw at the wall, something's gonna stick, and you got it. At least you got the branch 2 and branch 3, so that got you in the door.
Yep.
No, that's awesome, man. So from there, you now in your pest control career, what is what's one of the craziest things that's happened to you out in the field?
Well, I mean, this a lot of crazy things happen like almost every day, but some
Okay.
memorable ones, I guess. Um, I do a housing authority that I do for bed bugs and roaches.
Uh-huh.
Um, every week almost. I remember one day I walked in to do the inspections, and one of the tenants opened the door, and he's wearing a robe, and
Yeah.
you can see bed bugs just on the robe, roaches crawling up his legs, and then he's refusing the inspection. And I'm
Oh,
just like, oh my gosh, dude.
oh man. So he just that is okay. Did you ever get to even treat?
So I got with the maintenance team at the complex, and we ended up moving him out of the room, getting rid of all of his stuff, treating the room, and then moving back towards inspections and kind of keeping an eye on him. But yeah, I think we're not 100% under control because there's some things that he doesn't want to throw away, but
Yeah.
we're getting better.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so those are okay, those are pretty fun ones. Do you have a termite one that you've had that was just insane?
Um, they're termites. There was one funny one where I was doing the inspection and the customer is actually following me around while I'm doing the inspection.
Uh,
And I tap the wood and it breaks open and termites start falling out of it, like just the regular, not the winged ones, just the regular termites.
yeah.
And he screamed and ran out of the room like they were gonna attack him. So that was pretty entertaining for me.
You're like, oh, okay. I guess that happened. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's pretty good. What would you tell a new tech? And we just actually got some questions coming through. But what would you tell a technician? Because there's a lot of guys out there that don't pass a branch 2 and can't pass the branch 3. What would you give them advice wise on how to pass? I mean, you jumped in and passed it right away. So
Advice wise, I would just say talk to as many people as you can in the industry, make as many as connections as possible. Taking info from the older guys, as much as things have changed, their information is still very, very relevant in
yeah,
adapting to what's being done nowadays. So
yeah.
just, talking, listening, grabbing as much information as you can until you're ready to take on more, I would say.
Yeah, no. That's awesome. And it's actually true. I mean, the more information you can pull from these guys, the better it is. There's so much further ahead you can get. If you don't talk, you don't say anything, you don't ask questions, you're never going to grow or learn. So I can see that.
Yeah.
That's good advice. Do you have any questions for me? I would say, but he hasn't joined us yet. So
let's see. I know you guys do general pest, rodent work, rodent exclusion. Do you do anything with like gophers?
yes, we do. Yeah.
Do you like what do you prefer to do as far as gopher control? Do you prefer baiting, trapping?
It's kind of evolved. So when we first got into it, we were using the Burrow RX.
Mm-hmm.
So we were carbon monoxide, essentially putting them to sleep underneath the ground. That was a very hit and miss system. So we did see some good results, but the thing with that is you have to have a guy who is very, very thorough.
Mm-hmm.
If the guy is not thorough enough, you're not going to have success. Um, and I won't get into all the details with the machine and what you need to do, but you have to be very thorough. Baiting has always been a good one as well. We had good results, but it goes back to you don't get to see what you caught, and
Mm-hmm.
without not being able to see anything, uh, you get a lot of customers that doubt you because
Yeah.
they're like, well, there's still a mound over there, or there's a mound over here. And so we kind of had to go back to the drawing board of, okay, what do we got to do to change this? Like, people doubt us, but it could be a new gopher, it could be the old one. We don't know what we killed. So we went to trapping.
Okay.
Um, and trapping has actually been really, really good for us because we go out and the expectation's set. We're going to set up the traps. We may or may not catch something. If we do, we'll show you. We got a body. And so now we actually did something, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
this whole like, well, maybe they're gone, maybe they're here, maybe, we eliminated that with the trapping. We still bait, we still have the machine. So if people do want more of a humane way of taking care of, animals, then we have that as well. So we still provide everything, but our go-to now has been trapping.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of trapping. We do baiting too. I prefer trapping, just the same reason as you. You have that proof. You caught the gopher. It's there.
Yes. Yeah.
But like, there's one account that we have, which is a pretty decently sized apartment complex. That's
Yeah.
in the middle of a bowl of a hill system. So it's at the bottom of the hills, surrounded by hills.
Uh-huh.
And they've got construction going on across the street. And it's just like, it feels impossible to get control of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to set traps there because it's such a big apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to put traps and have somebody's dog dig them up, or somebody run it over with the lawnmower or something like that.
Yeah.
And then as far as like the smoking goes, a lot of I mean, it's an apartment complex. A lot of the activity is like right up against the buildings.
Yeah, you can't do anything there.
Yeah, so it's just a little bit harder with the bigger complex.
Are you using the traps that you are using, or is it the like the stake ones, like I don't even know what they're called, but they're poles that you put into the ground into their tunnel system, and it's just
The
a long.
Gopher Hawks.
Yeah, the Hawks. Yeah.
Those ones, we have a couple of them. I don't really like using those ones at residentials either, just because those are like when those are up, they're about to get stolen.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But what I use is the Gophernators.
Okay.
With,
Those are the ones that are the smaller ones that go inside the hole that you actually put in. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember the name of the ones we use. So I'd have to look them up. But okay. Yeah, in places like that, you'd want to almost do both. You would do trapping and baiting in a combination, if you're allowed to, or if they're willing, when it comes to pricing and everything like that. But that's how we would handle that. Is I would go at, on both sides, because you get into such a large area, bait can go such a long way, and it's very quick. I mean, you're just poking holes and going, right? I mean, it's pretty quick process. Where the trapping, you're digging a hole, you're finding that tunnel, you're placing the traps, then you got to flag that, and you got to go back and you got to check 20 different places that you trapped in. It can get really, it can be a lot of work and a lot of time with trapping. So I would almost go baiting in a situation like that. But
definitely, I think baiting is probably the best bet, and just maybe a little bit more aggressive on it.
Yeah, and you just got to find out what they're going for, if they're going for that bait or not. If you can flag a spot that you hit with bait and check to see if the bait's still there, or if it's been gone, then hey, do I have to choose a different type of bait?
Right.
Just monitoring that's always a good practice. But
it's never I didn't even think about that, but yeah, just maybe switching up the bait and picking some spots to monitor.
Oh yeah.
Work.
Yeah, for sure. Phillip, is there any other question for me before we keep going?
Why didn't you guys go to the Rodent Academy this last one? I was looking for you guys. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you did. Did you see our episode with Sylvia?
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Okay, good episode. It was a great episode. Great question on why we didn't go. I enjoyed the Rodent Academy a ton. And I know Aaron did too. We didn't have any new guys that we were going to be able to send out there.
Gotcha.
So we didn't think it was, necessary to, go again. And Aaron just fresh off of it just a year later. I don't know how much new information was provided out there, but it is a good one. Yeah. Sorry, we didn't go. That would have been awesome.
No worries. Yeah. After going, I can see if you didn't have anybody new to go with, it'd kind of be a little redundant, but no, I get it.
Yeah, no, they do an awesome job, and I know they do new things and they change it consistently. On some of those, we definitely want new blood out there learning, soaking that information up. Even for us going back out there, like Aaron going out there, coming back and sharing ideas and passing information back and forth. It's huge. I mean, it's huge. So that's cool that you actually got to go, because not a lot of people get to go.
Yeah, it was awesome. I learned a lot, and it improved our rodent services. So.
Oh yeah, and especially with everything that's changing here in California, and this is where it's going to get boring for any listeners out there. It's, we have to change so much here to get ahead of that. It's not just, hey, throw as much bait out as you can and hope for the best. It's, you got to change your whole entire program. I mean, if you're not doing exclusion work, you're not baiting, you don't want to use traps, whatever it may be, you have to you're going to have to step it up, because it's not as easy as it once was just to throw bait around and call it a day.
Yeah, especially when things are getting taken away.
and so consistently they're taking away. And with all the new recent stuff with the RUPs that are coming out, it's going to get even worse and worse. So it'd be interesting to see where it goes, but you definitely got to have a step up, and the Rodent Academy is great for that. I'm glad that you got something from it. And I know Sylvia, she's probably going to watch this episode. So what did you think? What's your review on the Rodent Academy?
It was great. It opened my eyes to things that I've been overlooking as far as like my inspections. Gave me ideas as far as like I make diagrams for my inspections when I do termite reports, but I never thought of making a diagram for a rodent report. It makes things so much more organized, especially when you're starting a job and then maybe another tech is going to follow up on it. At least you have some sort of organization, some sort of plan that they can see instead of some vague notes in the account.
Yeah, honestly. No. That's awesome. And that's the great thing about some of those programs is you get to go out to those and you get to learn from so many other companies and so many other technicians who are doing rodent work that you can really come back. If you're starting your own company, you get to come back with a whole program that you can create and you're ready for when you actually start it. So that's good. That is good feedback. What would you say that they need to change, or what would you have liked to see?
I don't know, maybe a little bit more time on like practicing the exclusion. I think that would have been a little bit more helpful. I mean, definitely it was fun, but I think just practicing a little bit more on how to get some of the exclusion done properly would have been cool.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you on that. I think that is one thing that's missed at the Rodent Academy. I saw that missed at the Wildlife Expo. Is everybody talked about it? No one would actually go in and explain it or show it or do it or hands on. But I also can kind of side with them. It would be a little difficult to have 40 people trying to do exclusion work, right?
Right.
So I get on both sides for them and for our sake. It would be so nice, but also for them, it's how do you execute that in a proper way and not taking up massive amount of time,
Right.
showing someone how to do, exclusion work. And the other thing is too, it's everybody has a different standard, right? Some guys use foam and steel wool. Other guys want to use a stainless steel chicken wire, or even the cheaper galvanized steel chicken wire. There's so much there that you can use. It's kind of like, what do you want us to teach you? What do you want us to show you? What material do you want to use? So it could be kind of difficult, but I agree with you on it.
Yeah. I mean, I also agree that it would be more time on them, but it's just something like maybe an additional class, maybe an online class, a video or something. That would have been great, just to kind of go into depth on some of the basic stuff, how to do it properly. Because, I mean, I'm sure you've seen some places where you go out and the exclusion work looks like it was done by like a 3-year-old. So.
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely seen that. Yeah, we've gone actually just recently. We went behind a company, and the guy who was out there originally, I mean, and it's an older guy, older company. They're not with the times. They don't know what's going on. So I don't blame him, but they talked about exclusion work. They never did anything. They just talked about it. They put out some traps and called it a day and left. And that's kind of what, we're talking about, right? You went to the Rodent Academy, you learned so much, and that's exactly what we're saying. Like, you can't just put out some traps and hope for the best. And this guy was pissed off. The homeowner was pissed off, and we went out and saved the day. And it just goes to show, like, you have to change, you have to adapt, you got to move, you got to shift, you got to change what you're doing, because you can't stay the same. Not for 30 years. You can't stay that way. So what are your plans and goals for the future? I know you said you're branch 3 operators. What's the next one?
After branch 3, I think I want to try and get my ACE.
Oh, okay.
And then, I mean, it's a long-term goal, but I eventually want to have my own business,
Nice.
my own operation going. But For now, I think my biggest goal is just to learn as much as I can so that I
Mhm.
have as much knowledge under my belt and make myself as valuable as possible.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, you're sticking through with you're taking this as the career path, huh? The pest
Yes,
control.
sir.
Yeah, I love it. Nothing's wrong with that. No shame in that. I think that's awesome, and I think there's so much potential, in this industry, especially how old we are, but how much we can grow, especially from the younger generation jumping into it. Is we don't use what we could use. We're not using the technology that we have. So many companies are stuck 30, 40 years ago and they haven't changed. So that's awesome that you're looking at this as, hey, this is a good opportunity and I can create something bigger from it.
Mhm.
No, that honestly, that's awesome, and good for you for doing that and sticking with it. But Phil, before we close, is there anything else that you'd like to say, mention, tell any of the new guys out there?
Just stick to it. It's going to get tough. Sometimes our job, our industry is completely based off of, people's preferences, the weather. There's a lot of factors that go into it. You're going to have long days and short days, but just stick with it. If if it speaks to you, you'll fall in love with it.
It's true. You know what? Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. But Philip, thank you so much for coming on and taking the time out of your day to record with us. And I hope you have a great weekend. I know it's coming up, for your son's birthday, and congratulations on taking the test and passing the test for the branch two operator. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, man. You have a good day.
You too, man. Bye.
See ya. All right, there we go. Phillip from Southern California, the next pest guest in National Pest Management Month. Great episode. I love talking to these guys and really figuring out what's going on and what they're doing in their career. And this just goes to show, thanks, Phillip, for sharing all that information about, the study material and really the lack thereof. It goes to show that there's so much more that we can do on our part to put out information and good information to keep the pest control game growing and becoming better. Once again, you guys can listen to us on any podcast platform. You can go to YouTube and check us out live. I'm going to say it again. Aaron, unfortunately, wasn't here. I think he actually just showed up in the office, but we'll have him on the next one. He got tied up out in the field. And yes, we're real technicians. Yes, we're doing the work. Remember, we're doing this out of our time, and some stuff comes up. It's life, right? We have a business to run and things like that. And so if you guys could please give us a like, follow us on YouTube, share it with your friends, share it with other pest control technicians, that would be awesome. And help us grow and put the word out with the information that we have and really learning more about the pest control industry and what it has to offer. Like Philip, he's in it for the long haul now. He's seeing his career path, he sees what it can bring, and there is so much there that it can bring. So please share it, follow us, and we're always looking for new guests. So please, you can go onto our website. There's a tab for pest guests. There's also a tab for questions. Remember, we have Q&A at the end of every month other than this month, because this is National Pest Management Month. We want this all about you guys, not about any questions that will be for next month. But please don't forget to send us those questions. Send in. There's still a couple more days left of the month to get in pest gas and to get that swag box sent to you with all of our gear. I know we don't have it out, but I'll show you our hat, our hoodies and shirts. Please send it in. Let's hear it and let's get some good stories. But thanks again for listening to the DNA Pest Control Podcast.